Most sales reps are leaving thousands of dollars on the table every single month, and they don't even realize it. They're closing deals, sure, but they're not collecting enough cash up front, which means that they're making less money overall. But here's the thing, when you learn how to double your cash collection on calls, everything will begin to change for you. Your commissions will skyrocket even with the same close rate and without taking any more calls. And more importantly, your prospects will commit at a higher level, which means that they actually get better results. So in this video, I'm going to break down the exact 4 things that you need to focus on if you want to collect double the cash upfront on every single call that you take. If you're new to the channel, welcome. My name is Christian Jack. Over the past few years, I've personally closed over $100 million in sales. I've coached thousands of sales reps around the world, and many of those sales reps are now consistently making 20, 30, 50, even sometimes 100K per month in commissions. And one of the biggest levers that we've pulled for all of them is increasing cash collection on the call. So let's get into how you can do the same on your offer. If you want to collect more cash, you cannot keep people in their logical brain, all right? Logically, people will always choose the cheapest option, right? The payment plan, the financing, whatever just reduces that upfront hit. But emotionally, that's where the big cash decisions are actually going to happen. So you need to create what's called emotional contrast. And 2 tools that I use all the time to do this are day in the life and cost of an action, right? So day in the life, put very simply, is you want to paint the picture of what it looks like in their life once they've actually achieved their dream outcome. So as an example, maybe right now you're a salesperson watching this, you're making 8 to 15K a month. If you want to get to 30K a month, how does that day actually look? When you wake up as a 30K a month salesperson, what do you do? What time do you wake up? What do you do first thing? What do you do midday? How many hours are you working, right? Like what does your actual day look like? And how does that contrast to what your day looks like now at 8 to 15K per month? What's really different and why does that matter to you? What's the significance behind that? Those are the sorts of questions that you ask in the day in the life syntax. And then the second thing that we go through is of course the cost of an action, right? You want to confront what happens if they stay stuck, not just for another day, another week, another month, but another XYZ amount of time that they've already been stuck, right? Just repeated timeline. Maybe once they get to their deathbed, if they haven't actually figured it out, what the effects are if they haven't figured this thing out now versus later. There's so much to go through there. But the essential rule is this: when prospects are in their logical brain, they're going to stall. But when they're in their emotional brain, they're going to act, right? And acting often means paying more upfront today. So may as well just keep them in their emotional brain. Now, just a caveat to this, some people are going to immediately go to the comments and start typing, oh, this is emotional manipulation or whatever. Have you actually studied neuroscience? I swear, like this is the most simple thing in neuroscience that you can probably actually learn, is that if you operate from your head, you're dead. That's a saying that Tony Robbins talks about. If you are operating from up here, if you're in your head all the time, you are living a fucked up life because you're not acting, you're not doing what you need to do, and you're probably just constantly overanalyzing everything. You're stuck in fear, you're stuck in uncertainty, you're stuck in, oh, what if this happens, what if that happens, etc. Like if you are living your life through your logical brain, through your head, then you are not living life. I fucking guarantee it every time. But if you're able to live life through here, through your heart, through your gut, tell me when the last time is that you actually made a gut decision that was wrong. Probably never. And even if it was wrong in the moment, it probably paid off in the long term. So stop living in your head and stop thinking that this is emotional manipulation. This is just making decisions from here, which in my opinion, I would rather live a life full of making decisions from here instead of here every day of the week. Now, number 2 is objections like I need to think about it or it's too expensive aren't really about the logic, and you know it. They're not about how much money this is. They're not about how much they can afford on the monthly plan. Like 99% of the time, they aren't really logical. They're actually about identity. See, you know that your prospect needs to change. Your prospect probably also knows that they need to change. They know that they need to become someone new, someone better, someone who makes better decisions in order to hit their goals. But right now, they're still making the decisions as this old version of themselves. That's why they hesitate, right? The current version of them thinks, oh, this program is expensive. But the version that they want to become, the one who's in your case, maybe making 30K a month in sales, knows that the investment is nothing, absolutely nothing compared to the payoff. If I told you right now for 25 grand, I could take you from 10K a month to 30K a month in the next 90 days instead of it taking the next year, how much money would you actually save, right? Do the math. 10K a month times 12 months is 120 grand. Pretty simple. 10K a month for the next 3 months is 30K, plus 30K a month for the next 9 months is 270K. That's 300 grand. So 120, 300 grand. What's the difference? That's 180 grand. You are putting in 25 grand in order to make 180 grand. Tell me where the fuck else you're going to make that kind of money. And don't tell me crypto. Don't tell me trading. Like, I guarantee you, if you were able to do that, you probably would have, right? So let's be real. How much money are you actually wasting by thinking this is too expensive? Because it's really not. This is about the new version of you who's able to look at that data and really make this kind of a decision. Like, yes, the decision makes sense up here, but fuck that. Make this decision. Do you want to? Do you know that you deserve to go and make this? Do you believe that your family actually deserves a version of you who's able to provide those things for them? So when you're handling objections, do not, for goodness sake, do not say it at the surface level. Help them step into the identity of the person they want to be. Because here's the thing, the person that they really want to be probably doesn't split up the payments. The person they want to be probably fully commits, because everyone knows that the more commitment you have, the more successful you're probably going to be. And one other note on this, do not collect more cash just for yourself, for your own commissions, for your own ego. Don't just collect cash because you're going to make more commissions. That's fucking selfish. Collect more cash because you know in your heart of hearts that they're going to get a better transformation. That this is a story that they're going to look back on their life and be fucking proud of because they actually decided to go all in. They didn't take the easy road. So when objection handling, get them to commit more to change. That's all you have to do. Now, the third way to collect double the cash up front is pitching the paid in full, all right? There's a very specific way that I pitch that consistently gets people paying more upfront. If you'd like to look through my previous videos, I've talked about it in previous videos more in depth, but it goes something like this. Number one, this is not one of those programs like blah, 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 blah. I'm going to vilify everything else out there and talk about what this is not, clear away any of the misconceptions that they may have coming into this call. The second thing we cover in the pitch is what this is, right? I want to paint the truth about what it is that we do, who we are, how we operate, what it is that we value, et cetera, et cetera. After that, then we go through the timeline. I'm not talking about you get this, you get this, you get this, you get this. I'm talking about here's what we do first in order to set you up the proper way that we only have to do this one time. Then here's how we're actually going to use that setup to hit your goals. And then here's how we take you from just hitting that initial goal to hitting the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one, and really setting you up for that long-term future of success that you know that you have always wanted, that you talked to me about a minute ago in Discovery, okay? Very, very simple. Next up from there, number 5 is the disclaimer, who this is for and who this is not for. All right, Mr. Prospect, can you see how we've set everything up so that it's very difficult to fail? Yes, Christian, I can. Would you like to know how and why some people even still do fail and how you might as well? Yes, Christian, I very much so would. It's like, this all sounds too good to be true. What's the catch? Here's the catch. You got to fucking show up. You got to do your thing. You got to actually communicate when you got problems. Like, it's so simple. Anyway, I'm not going to get off on a rant, I promise. That's the disclaimer. And then this very last part, this is the 6th step, is the incentive, right? This is where we can really turn up the heat to get extra cash upfront on every single call. It's by incentivizing the behavior that we want them to have inside the program, right? As a business owner now, I understand this way more than I even did as a sales rep. And it really came from when I became a sales manager, right? When you are running a sales team, you want to incentivize your sales reps to do the right behaviors in order to get them to then do those behaviors again. It's very simple, right? Like, I don't want to degrade it down because some people feel a certain way about this, but Pavlov's dogs, right? As soon as Pavlov linked the food with the bell, whenever he rang the bell, the dogs just started salivating, right? They didn't have to have food around. They just linked the two together. And so what we're going to do is actually incentivize the behaviors that we want the prospect to have starting right now, because let's be real, the journey doesn't start once they've paid. The journey started as soon as they saw the first ad, as soon as they saw the first video from our influencer. That's what started the journey. They're already in it. And your offer owner, your managers, your marketing team has already incentivized certain behaviors in order to help them move forward if this is the right step for them. So all that we're doing is we are continuing that process here, and we are rewarding fast, decisive action. Now, this incentive is very important, that you don't do it like some tacky, buy it now or lose it forever kind of, that just screams desperation. Instead, what you want to do is you want to frame it as a sort of reward for people who actually exhibit the behaviors of people who are most successful inside of the program, right? If we are selling trading as an example, right? When you are live on the markets, 9 a.m. EST, and you see the markers for where you need to buy in, for where you need to sell, what happens if you hesitate? What happens if you don't actually do that? What happens if you decide, oh, you know what? I'm scared that I'm going to lose money. I'm just going to sit back and not do something. You're going to lose it. You're going to lose out on opportunity. You're probably even going to lose certain positions as well. And you're going to go in the red. The same exact thing here. We do not want people in the program who, sure, they pay us money, but then they get inside and they're too fucking afraid to go and get what it is that they want, to actually act in the moment when that trade comes, when that moment comes, and it's time to go, and you know it. I refuse to let somebody inside the program who is not going to act in that way right here, right now, because that's all that I have. I don't know what you're going to do inside, but I do know what you're doing right now. So let's make the decision now, and that's what we want, that's what you want, it's what everybody wants. Now, I'm not going to say it exactly like this on the call, but I'm just giving you an idea that done right, this makes paying in full seem like not just a good choice, not just a logical choice because they save some money for acting right now, but it makes it the obvious choice. And that's how you can collect more cash with the incentive. And last but not least, number 4 is the pre-call state management routine, okay? None of this works if you're showing up uncertain, if you're showing up low energy, if you're showing up hesitant. Think about it. If you were in your prospect's shoes, would you hand over $10K in cash to you? If you're feeling uncertain, if you're feeling tired because you were drunk the night before and you stayed up late, if you're feeling hungover, if you're feeling sloppy, a fucking course not, right? Your energy is contagious. If you want people to go all in with you, to have the utmost trust in you, to have the utmost certainty in you, you need to show up in peak state every time. That means managing your physiology, your rest, your focus, your mindset, your presence, everything before your call. Because when you radiate certainty, people trust you. And when they can trust you, then they just pay you in full. All right, now those are the 4 keys to doubling your cash collection in calls. Number 1, building emotional contrast. Number 2, handling objections at the identity level instead of the surface level. Number 3, pitching for the paid in full. And number 4, managing your state before every single call. But if you want to go deeper into exactly how I do this and how I teach my students to do this, the scripts, the frameworks, the role plays, it's all inside the Sales Dojo. All right, this is my sales training platform down in the description below. It's the first link where I have poured in everything that I have learned, closing over 100 million in sales, investing over $750,000 into my own development and training. And you get to join today with a completely free 7-day free trial. Again, it's the first link down in the description below. If you'd like to join, love to have you. If not, I'll see you in the next video.